This is the Louie T Network. The journey is long, and nobody said it was going to be easy. But all we've got is us. All that believe is us. The Redskins Report.
Welcome all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. Boy, that was quick. So much for not being busy this offseason. I don't think that this signing of Ricky Jean-Francois is any indication of how this offseason is going to go for the Redskins. I think this was an opportunity for General Manager Scot McCloughan to get a player that he is very familiar with from a guy that he helped draft in San Francisco in the 7th round when he was a part of the San Francisco 49ers front office. So I think that was basically the leg up on the competition because there were other suitors for Ricky Jean-Francois' services. So I think that was probably the deciding factor. That, and again, 3 years, $9 million with a deal that with incentives could kick to $11.25 million. That'll talk too. Again, money talks above everything else. And it always helps when you're around familiar faces, and Scot McCloughan to Ricky Jean-Francois is exactly that. And that's why I think we've got a legit shot at getting Mike Iupati, another guy from that San Francisco 49ers football team that I think Scot McCloughan has some past history with. That may help us in acquiring him in free agency as well. Only time will tell about that. But this is a nice little signing here. A guy that's going to help us along the defensive line. Not going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Only 8.5 career sacks in 5 years. So not a guy that's going to necessarily get to the quarterback and apply pressure. But he is stout at the point of attack. Will help us stop the run along that defensive line. And I don't know if this is something that I need to read into. I don't know if I should be reading tea leaves here or not. But the Redskins right now, last year we carried 7 defensive linemen for the majority of the year. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, we've got 7 with the signing of Ricky Jean-Francois on the roster now. But right now, between Frank Kierce, Kedrick Golston, you also have Jason Hatcher and Chris Baker. Those are the 4 that we know are going to be back right now as it stands. You add Ricky Jean-Francois to the mix, that's 5. And then you got Barry Cofield and Stephen Bowen as the other 2. Now those 2, again, I talked about it earlier today, they may be on their way out with high cap numbers. I think I misspoke earlier. I think Bowen's cap number might actually be something like $8.7 million and Cofield's might be something around $7.7 million. So those are really high numbers for guys that really didn't help contribute last year. I don't want any part of Bowen unless he's restructuring his deal to next to nothing. Meanwhile, Cofield, again, I think injuries were a huge part of last year being a down year for him, but he's been really solid and consistent for us since coming over from the Giants. So I'm a little bit more lenient on him than I am Stephen Bowen. We have only gotten 1 year of production from him. So I feel really good about the signing of Ricky Jean-Francois. Here's a guy that will help us stop the run, that will help this defense Let's set up a wall and give the linebackers, and again, we want to keep guys like Keenan Robinson clean. K-Rob is an animal, and guys like Ricky Jean-Francois will help him stay clean and get to ball carriers on Sundays. And last year was one of his best seasons. He got his most starts in his career last year with the Colts, 13. And so he was able to register a career high 28 tackles and a career high 3 sacks as well. So last year he was playing good football, and the only reason the Colts cut him loose was because they didn't want to pay him the $5.5 million that was coming his way this upcoming season. They felt like that money could be better spent elsewhere, and so they cut ties with him. Their loss is our gain. Let's hope that he continues on the upward track, as last year was his best season of his career as a professional. Let's hope that trend continues. As a Washington Redskin, that's going to do it for me. I am a Redskins fan. And wherever you go, my Redskins spirit will never die. My Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hey! To our beloved Redskins. I don't expect to be back because we signed somebody else. So I won't be seeing you for a little while, but again, we're on the board. Don't expect us to be heavy pursuers in free agency. I just think this was an opportunity to get a guy that was out there that Scot had prior dealings with, and we were able to take advantage of that. Again, splash a little bit of green. That always helps. See you next time.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page @InTheLabRoom. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and @InTheLabRoom on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.
The Redskins Report.